Hello. So I just don't want to say anything today. I just don't want to say anything, don't want to do anything. I've got so much going on in my head, so I think I'll pull a card instead. And I didn't think this out until like literally just now, so I'm gonna reach. Don't look at my face. This one. The collie tag. Right? Or yeah, no, we'll do collie. That was the one. Now I tried to take a break today, just do laundry, get ready to go back to work tomorrow, and I came up with my next project that I'll be putting on YouTube soon. As if putting my braless body on the internet wasn't enough. There it is. Let's see. Number 15. Mahavidya. I don't pull cards for myself very regularly, so she is unrestrained, unlimited, wild, and unconditional love. The heart knows how to attract grace and manifest creative resolution where the mind sees only difficulties. A spiritual awakening of tremendous value is opening for you as your inner being reorients itself around the increasing inner light. Established structures built upon lesser foundations will have to give way. She demands the courageous embrace of experience. She is your call to initiation and growth, your invitation to embrace your path, rise and greet your destiny. She's the great wisdom that manifests through 10 wisdom goddesses. Mahavidya is primordial Kali in multiple expressions, providing whatever is needed to serve the spiritual benefit of all beings. This is true wisdom, always shifting in response to what is needed. There are times when, no matter how logical an approach may be, no matter how commonly acknowledged as correct or how sensible it may seem, the heart nudges us toward a different way. Knowledge can come from experience, yet it cannot guarantee evolution on its own. We can outgrow problems and birth superior outcomes only when we are willing to learn from our experiences and have the courage to be moved in new ways along untried paths that resonate with the heart. Through engaging the heart, knowledge can become wisdom. Wisdom is known by its effect. It elicits healing, transformation, and provides a path through any difficulty. You may feel bound to unwanted circumstances. The way to be freed from the oppression or constriction you are feeling is through wisdom. However, there is a sacrifice required to obtain it. The surrendering of fixed opinions and judgments based in self-cherishing viewpoints. Self-cherishing is a term from the Buddhist tradition which holds wisdom in very high regard. A self-cherishing viewpoint sounds as though it is self-loving, but it is not. It is the viewpoint that reinforces the ego. It generates fear, confusion, and anxiety. It does not really love the self and want the best for the soul. It just wants the universe to behave in predictable ways according to the whims and desires of ego. It could be that the self-cherishing viewpoint reinforces the idea of being superior to others. Alternatively, it could be based on the idea that we are inferior and deserving of poor treatment. In action, the self-cherishing viewpoint is akin to a child who only wants to drink sugary drinks, perhaps because they remind her of her birthday party when she feels like a princess. She wants always to feel so special. When given a plate of broccoli and carrots and gasp a glass of water, the self-cherishing viewpoint is that child is thwarted. The universe is not behaving according to her view of things. The wisdom response to this is to disentangle the healthy desire to experience our innate worth from the circumstances. We can then realize that the unexpected veggies are a gift of love and well-being. There is no distress, only growth and learning. The self-cherishing viewpoint prevents us from accessing such wisdom. Instead, it attempts to lock the universe into behaving accordingly to our limited view, and when it does not, we feel anxiety, distress, and confusion. We interpret the plate of veggies to mean that we don't matter, that we have no value, that we never get what we want, and so forth. However, when we want lemonade and life hands us lemons, the wisdom within will prevent us from despairing and inspire us to become creative and maybe find a lemon press or even grow an orchard. If things don't appear to be working out, do not buy into self-cherishing limitations that create distress and confusion in your heart. There is an interpretation of what is happening that will bring you peace. You are not being punished or denied, you are being assisted on your path. Although you may feel thwarted, that viewpoint shall be temporary. It will give way to the realization that you are deeply loved, cherished, in an authentic, soul-honoring way. You have nothing to fear. Invocation. Beloved wisdom, mother of my heart, Mahavidya, Kali Ma. I mentally and emotionally let go now, no longer trying to impose my viewpoint upon events, no longer buying into interpretations of what is happening in my life, which created fear, confusion, and distress. I rest still in the center of my being, where you reside. I become quiet, feeling and listening for your presence. I am now receptive to your infusions of wisdom. I surrender and am empowered to move forward on my path, secure in your guiding grace for the spiritual benefit of all beings. Jama Kali. I think I need another card because what do they refer to it as? That self-cherishing. I'm kind of like a little bit perplexed by that one because I have romanticized my past. And that sounds like self-cherishing, right? And by no means should it have any effect on anybody else, because I have standards. That doesn't mean that I criticize or like have the same standards upon anybody else. Not intentionally. I mean, I was thinking about this and I actually recorded myself talking about this earlier. That I don't it's that just because I don't fit in with people because I do have this like that their version of the self-cherishing, like the disappointment in myself. But I'm on the other side of all of this time of being so disappointed, and now I'm cherishing my experience. And that shouldn't be, there's no good or bad, but I've made peace with it, and I guess I should read this one. Shinimasta, number 20. Sacred severance is her radical grace. She is our soul's power to shed and survive, to outgrow and evolve. When the soul needs to separate itself from that on which it once relied, be it a view of ourselves or the world, or a group of belief systems that cannot support the truths of the heart, she is the capacity, sovereignty, and courage required for self-liberation. Systems of oppression within your mind and your world will be overcome. You have the power to sever your attachment to the past and focus on inner regeneration and reorientation, healing into a path that is worthy of your heart. The fifth of the Mahavidya wisdom goddesses is a most shocking form of Kali. Shinimasta. She is the divine feminine avatar, self-decapitated and partaking of the blood that emerges from her throat. The name Shinimasta translates as beheaded. She signifies a powerful activation of the spiritual path through the confrontation of oppressive behaviors, self-limiting attitudes, and intellectual dominance of intuition. The head is the symbol of the known, of thinking, of forms of authority. It is the head that wears the crown, the sign of status and power. Unrestrained by authority, she is able to overpower it. For our human selves, the head is the locus of control. So during a Shinamasta initiation, you will not understand what is happening, and you won't know how everything is going to turn out. That is meant to be, and not something that this says is it's meant to be, and not something you need to worry about or fight against. Shinamasta is potent medicine for liberation. Her graphic iconography differentiates her from other forms of Kali that wear her favorite accoutrements of severed heads and skull garlands. Shinamasta's severance is of her own head. This represents self-liberation. We do not need to wait for another to intervene. She shows the way to save ourselves, to move from inner courage and inner wisdom. Her presence can indicate a time when you must trust yourself completely without external support systems to rely on. The belief and constructs that once supported you will no longer be able to do so. Success cannot come from the tried and true paths of the past. You are evolving beyond that. It is time to rest in the void and allow for a new way to emerge. Despite the inherent violence in the image, Shinamasta is not dead. Blood is flowing. She is very much alive. No matter how severe the challenges you are encountering, no matter what you let go of, which you once identified with or cherished, your life shall continue. You, the real you, which is not who you thought you were, is breaking free into more life, not less. Sometimes the old systems have to fall for new order to be established. Things will never be the same because your real self is powerful enough to shed the false layers and radiate the inner beauty and wisdom more freely. Her partaking of blood symbolizes the capacity to be nourished and fed by changes rather than devastated or destroyed by them. It is reassurance that at a deeper level you are gaining something from the chaos and construction into your being and your life. As you continue to move through the process of change, you will gain energy from something new. Shinamasta is self-nourishing through the spiritually conscious application of destructive energy. Shinamasta shows us that transformation is not about trying to change others. It is about tackling our views, our fixed identities, and our attachments to power and status. Even if a situation is causing us pain and it appears to be under the control of another person, Shinamasta initiates us into using our spiritual power to free ourselves. Her teaching is that we have the means to become free within us. We do not need to control outer circumstances or other people. Within us is the energy from within. Within us is the energy we need to continue on our path. We can draw what we need from within. Shinamasta leads us into deeper terrain where we can release tendencies to self-sabotage through ignoring our intuition, truth, and needs. We have the power to get out of our own way. Need I not interpret that one? Because I'm interpreting as I go, and this is a big thing. My feedback is very selective. But I hope if anybody listened to that, you got something from it. I definitely was thinking about both of those cards and how they have like a theme of critiquing oneself, and I've been thinking about sharing my experience, and I don't know if I'm being told not to because the amount of self-critique I had, but it's true. I struggle with extreme perfectionism, and that is what will be obvious whenever all is said and done. And I feel bad for having such high standards because yes, I would probably be better off if I could let it go but in order to have the life that I want, it's not even an option. It's like, I don't know, I haven't even fully interpreted it yet, so I'll probably be rewatching that if nobody else watched it. It is definitely for me to rewatch in the future, but I do love these Kali cards. I don't know, maybe I'll pull... I keep looking at the Starseed deck, which is a popular one. I get kind of embarrassed pulling cards from this deck because it's, I really try to stay away from labels, and Starseed is becoming very, very, very common of a label. The New Earth. Okay. I like jumpers. I like clear answers. Like that. Even if I have to work for them. Fall into my arms. Oh, there's two. Messenger and Star Brothers. Should I read all of these? I'm not doing anything else, so why not? Why not? Okay, fall into my arms. Surrender, holding the opposites, extremes of life. Some of these cards I've never seen. I mean, most of them. I have a ton of cards, so here we go, starting my card pools. Yay! Okay. The Great Mother ushered you in when you took the first breath, and she'll be there when you draw your last. She knows how challenging life can be, that being a human can be lonely and confusing, that the polarity and separation can be excruciating when your soul remembers the oneness of Source. But at the same time, it can be incredibly glorious and sweet. So often we see things as either good or bad. When things go well, we make it mean that we're being rewarded. And when things are bad, then perhaps we've done something wrong. However, we're all here to expand and grow, and it's through the extremes of life that we do exactly that. You're being invited to welcome the highs and the lows of the human experience, to let them initiate you more fully into life, the agony and the ecstasy, the beauty and the bitterness. This life is but a single breath in the inextinguishable existence of your experience as a soul. The Great Mother wants you to hand over your loneliness, worries, hurt, sorrow, fears, burdens, and doubts, to lay them at her altar, to fall fully into her arms, to remember that while these extremes are difficult, they can also be magnificent. The more wildly the pendulum of your life's wings, the more truthfully you can say, I've truly lived. It's a good one. Messenger. Sirius energy, bringing harmony and balance. You're part of the lineage of souls who have dedicated their lifetime to the upliftment of the planet, to returning time and again to seed the light, the crystalline ones, the ones who are here to plant the sacredness of life back in, to honor both the sacred feminine and masculine, to usher deep reverence back in. Many ascended masters are thought to be connected to the energy of Sirius. Often appearing as a shade of blue, they hold the frequency of pure love and are here to help the masculine and feminine exist in harmony, to ensure greater balance, to help us see that we're all connected and that the masculine and feminine energies exist within us all. You're being called to bring about this balance and harmony between the masculine and feminine, to be a guardian of harmony and balance on Earth. This of the whales traveling around the whales traveling around the globe, sharing love through their healing vibrational song. The unique notes send balance and harmony to every corner of the planet. A rebalancing of the masculine and feminine is occurring worldwide. It is a resurgence of sacred within us all, a returning of the sacred union within, a rekindling of heaven and earth, You can begin to bring harmony and balance by creating it in your own life. The ripples will follow from there. You can honor and balance the sacred masculine and feminine energies within yourself and others. One more. Star Brothers. I'm right at my 21 minutes. Cool. I've never seen this card. I should have showed you some of them. Horus energy, protection, loyalty, safety, trust. You are more protected than you can imagine. It's safe to open the back of your heart. You're being called to open to receiving a new level of support now. From those in your life and from your benevolent beings, the benevolent beings you are connected with, through ancestral patterning, current life traumas, and past life karmic impressions. Many of us have become mistrustful and suspicious of loyalty and have blocks when it comes to receiving support. We've learned that we need to go at life alone. That is not safe. That it's not safe to let our guard down and open our heart. That the world isn't a friendly place. The Star Brothers want you to have a new experience of life on Earth. They want you to feel deeply secure and safe, even if you're going through a difficult time. They want you to hand over your fears to them, to see them as opportunities to let in more love. They're guiding you to stay open to receiving a greater level of support than you can ever imagine, both in this world and beyond. To call in your team of loyal protectors and supporters, both physically and energetically. They want you to learn to soften through life's ups and downs, and to learn to open your heart, especially when it most wants to harden. Beautiful. All right, well, I guess that is that. A bunch of cards I've never seen today, so I'm doing things I've never done, and I should not be surprised. Alright, tomorrow.